Do you often ramble or waffle in your English communications? You go on and on without making a clear point? Ramit Sethi, an entrepreneur, with his communication with a native couple, describes the problem.
Others ramble for 3 minutes, going on random digressions, and they leave you more confused than when you started.
This not speaking concisely can be a serious issue, either in random occasions like job employment.
Ramblers for me are an instant no hire.
Or in an English exam, like IELTS speaking, especially part 3, when questions become overwhelming. In this video, I'll show you 2 very handy yet simple methods applied by public speakers and even recommended by speaking coaches. To find out the first method, let's go directly to an exact native sample and watch a TED Talk by Cuddy, a psychologist. In this video, she's describing the effects of body language.
We're particularly interested in other people's body language.
Here she expresses an idea, right? Then
An awkward interaction or a smile.
she gives examples to make that idea more sensible for us. After that,
When we think of nonverbals, we think of how we judge others, how they judge us.
she tells us the reason. In fact, how those examples are presenting the idea. Meaning so far, we had idea, example, reason, right?
We tend to forget, though, the other audience that's influenced by our nonverbals, and that's ourselves.
Then she switches to another idea. She looks at this concept of body language from another angle. And she does the same to express this second idea too. So in a nutshell, this first method is idea number 1, example or examples, and the reason. Then idea number 2, example, and the reason. You can go back and watch the clips I played to see this order again. Also, I'll put the link of the whole video in the description. Though you can change the order of example and reason at times, it depends on the concept. This method is extremely user-friendly when it comes to complicated ideas, when you require to make your idea comprehensible and understandable. That's why you're making examples and then the reasons to make the idea more reasonable. Imagine in IELTS speaking part 3, you are asked a complex question, like off the top of my head, do you think people can represent their culture in international sports? That's a kind of strange question somehow, right? You can say, yes, I do think so, and then say some examples, like using their uniforms in the opening ceremony, and then your reasons, and then switch to another idea, like, and sometimes I don't think so, and then talk about the international rules in sports. They are not culture-based, yeah? They are worldwide. So you see, this is going to make your brainstorming quite easy. The second method. I believe this is the best to answer somehow 2 general questions. I mean, to quickly figure it out how to cover the major aspects of a very big topic. This time, imagine the topic is exercise being good. Or let's say you are asked in an IELTS speaking part 3 exam again, why is exercise good? At first, when you think about the answer, you are thinking about probably 10 reasons. Yeah, 10 answers to say. But if you do so, if you express them all, you'll seem like a chatterbox, right? And in an exam, you'll run out of time. You cannot explain all those 10 reasons. So how to choose between ideas? How can I think clearly in order to speak clearly? This second method is called 3, 2, 1. You go through 3 steps, 2 types, 1 thing. In fact, you can change the order. If one thing is at the start, it's like a kind of introduction, or if it's at the end, it's kind of a conclusion. Let's put it into context and see how you can answer that imaginary question, why is exercise good? My answer would be this. I think exercise is by far the most effective solution to health issues. 1 thing. not only does it affect mental health very positively, but also it boosts physical health in so many ways in all ages. 2 types. I mean, if children start their favorite sport from young ages, they can form the habit of pursuing that physical activity for the rest of their life and benefit from its advantages. Also, I've seen adults who began going to the gym in their mid-30s without any exercise background, yet they still have built up a lot of strength, a lot of muscles. And more surprisingly, some of the elderly, I mean people from the baby boom generation, these days are getting used to working out at times, every now and again. And I'm seeing, for instance, in my own grandmother, how fast both her stamina and mood have been improving in just 6 months. 3 steps I mentioned. While just thinking about the answer, I decided to categorize the steps to explain my idea based on the age, like 3 steps of lifetime to describe those effects on all ages. You can separate your idea based on other factors. For example, you can talk about the effect of exercise on obesity, and then on depression, as their examples. And your third example would be fatty liver disease, or let's say diabetes. You have many options. If it was an IELTS question, I cover many aspects of the answer, but in an organized way. I didn't just ramble. I didn't just make a list. And by doing so, I was giving myself the opportunity to have various tenses and different vocabulary groups. Overall, it was such a cohesive response. All you need to improve your speaking level. I hope you found these 2 methods, these 2 frameworks, kind of handy and useful. Don't forget to subscribe so you'll see the next videos. Bye!